Welcome to the Advertising Forum. This is episode 4 of the Agentic Monetization series, sponsored by Mula.
With us today is Josh Markham, Chief Product Officer at Mula, joining us to talk about all things Agentic Monetization. Josh, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, ATG. Jeremy, great to be here.
Great to have you here. Josh, huge fan of what you're building, huge fan of what you've done. We've had multiple conversations prior to this recording. You are the former CEO of Webflix. So I want to get a better understanding of what aspects of Mula do you wish you had while you were at Webflix, and where are we today?
Oh, well, good question. So I think where I'd like to start is actually I spent most of my career in product management. It became really clear to me, I think in 23, that in product management, what we're really doing is prompting things. We're prompting basically things that we would call use cases or acceptance criteria or proposals. All of these were really translating intent into something that machines can understand. And a lot of that translation is something that has really been democratized with the LLM tools today. I think for strong communicators, it's been a really big refresh, and for weaker ones, a little bit of a wake-up call. And I think great product management, at least the way that I've been taught, is that you want to build yourself out of the job. You want to automate, you want to delegate, you want to move on to things that will help really bolster the business. And I think the LLMs have put that philosophy on steroids to the point where you might even want to refer it as founder mode, but the speed of idea to delivery is now something that is so fast. We could only dream about it. Even for a 2-year-old company like Webflix, the things that we could do today are just far reaching faster than what has been done before.
I love that you mentioned automate, delegate. I think those are two very important evolutions that we're seeing today with the growth of Agentic and AI. What does it look like for a publisher who uses Mula day to day, especially with the Slack and / command reporting that you guys have?
Yeah, so the publisher today has multiple goals. It starts with one clear goal. Right now, we're focused on revenue per session. For the average publisher today, getting about 1.1 page views per session, that's basically a one and done. You come read something and leave. The bounce rate's pretty high. What Mula's agent is doing is changing that. It looks at every moment on the page. It's taking the highest and best use of the real estate that it's being offered and provided. And should this person see another article, an ad, a product recommendation, what keeps that user engaged? And the Mula agent is actually making real-time trade-offs and making that impression smarter every second. The workflow, as you mentioned, was Slack. It's been an interesting little byproduct. Having come from product management, I spent a lot of time making client interfaces and client centers. About 20 to 30% of people tend to log in and use those. Instead, we took an approach that was lighter. In fact, no dashboards, no separate logins. What we do now is we put an agent behind Slack, and it turns the analytics into a conversation. It gets the actual customer or the publisher immediately involved in making decisions faster too. We not only are able to share that information very quickly, but we also see how they want to engage with that information, which is also very, very insightful.
When you guys announced Mula, when Jason White, who we had on episode 1, first announced it, you guys used a term, the fighting AI with AI. How is your approach any different with fighting AI with AI? And how is that different from what the walled gardens are doing today?
Yeah, Jason uses that term. It makes for a good headline. There is some real substance behind it. The AI that I think that we'd like to bring to equalize the playing field is the AI that social platforms have been really exploding with. We know that publishers are hurting because AI mode is actually deteriorating their traffic. But instead, could we fight the AI with AI by giving the tools that the social platforms and the walled gardens have been using to the publishers? Make a better use of their space dynamically, the same way social platforms are doing that. Give the user what they want when they want it, and not have these predefined spaces reserved for content or ad. And I think that's actually our approach is using some first principles to do that. Every agent we deploy is actually making little small trade-offs, and it's constantly learning. And it's constantly bringing us that information back as well. So it's not about really beating AI. It's really about leveraging it intentionally so that the open web can be competitive again.
So Josh, I love how you just mentioned leveraging AI specifically. Have you seen any early results showing how much time or actual revenue publishers are saving with this form of automation that you're helping them with?
Immediately. Yes, Jeremy, immediately. The exciting part was that immediately we can see a lift in revenue per session. This is really strong on right now. We're on a lot of sports content. And immediately we can take that average of 1.1 page views and bring it up to about 1.5 page views, which is a pretty big lift. If you think about, that's 30 to 50% worth of more programmatic page load and ads that can actually be generating more revenue. It adds up really fast. When you layer in more content, more video, direct ad inventory, we think we can get smarter and smarter to really bring that up to 2 or 3 page views. And it's really that time spent metric that we're going to be aiming for. And the best part is that our agents are constantly A/B testing as well. So it doesn't stop. It just continuously is optimizing and learning. So although there's this big push immediately, you can also see a trickle up as well as things are getting optimized in and out.
So how do you make sure that automation doesn't mess with the publisher's voice, their editorial voice, or even the brand quality?
That's a very, very, very big one and an important one. We tried it
Thank you.
very early on. I think there's a lot of sort of trust that has to get built with these tools, and we keep the publisher in control the entire time. So not only do we show them how this works, we allow them to be that human in the loop. Once they start to build that trust and understand that we're not hijacking the page, we're not littering it with a lot of content that might be clickbait, and that we're actually using their content. And we're using just structures that they've already had on their page. We're just using it in a more intelligent way. I think once they realize this, and that the goal is to not replace the editorial judgment. It's actually bringing the editorial teams of monetization teams together and allowing an objective sort of referee to say what should actually be in this particular real estate at any given time. And I think that's actually the trust that we're building with these publishers.
So you mentioned bridging together the editorial teams, the monetization teams. How do you use agents yourself? How does that work? Because there's a lot taking place when a page loads, when the content's going there, and when you're creating such a cool technology. There's got to be some kind of special sauce of how you guys are using agents to help you.
Yeah, so I use it personally quite a bit, but we also have a product management virtual head of product agent. So
that is cool.
It runs off of our modal content protocol. So we have an MCP that we've set up. I give it inputs and outputs. I am essentially that human in the loop. It gives me tasks that I have to do. I have I ask it questions. It's able to help me in writing requirements for our coding agent who writes code. It even helps me save a lot of time by asking questions on behalf of the coding agent. These would have been meetings that would have had to been set up, taking days, weeks, maybe even longer in some larger organizations. So we save a lot of time. And I think this is sort of the new normal of how I work. It's a recursive collaboration between me and Nashim. And I think Jason's doing that as the CEO as well.
What's next on your roadmap? Is it personalization, ad optimization, video?
Yeah, anything that is going to keep that user on that site longer. I think as we fill more of the web with content and products that people actually want to see, I think that's when the web recovers again. I think the bigger we sort of think about how Mula can take advantage of real-time decisioning, I think for us, we want to sort of start with the real estate we've been given, but we can see ourselves sort of taking over a little bit more real estate as we can start bringing a curated intelligence for what the user is actually wanting to see and what will keep them there and be very personalized at that. And I think at some point too, we're on equal footing with the social giants. We're basically taking their playbook and unpacking it in a way where the publisher is actually going to be the beneficiary this time. And I think that's when the internet starts winning and feeling alive again.
Love that. And if brands, agencies, publishers want to reach out, how should they get in touch with you, Josh?
They can get in touch with me on LinkedIn. That's an easy way to reach out, but also all of us on the Mula team and all of our advisors are accessible both on LinkedIn and on the website. Please reach out.
You guys have some great advisors. Josh, this wraps up our Agentic Monetization series sponsored by Mula. Thank you for being here. This was a really fun conversation. It was fun to geek out in advance and just listen more about what you guys are building and the people behind it. So we're excited for you. Thank you.
You and ATG, thank you for both what you guys do in this industry. It's really important. You guys bring a lot of fun to our space. Thank you.
We're having fun. Thank you. Thank you.